Yeah.
I mean, look at when I played like adult softball or whatever, like there wasn't a sober dude on that field. Like it was just like dudes were just
true.
Like
in the wine bag.
terrible. Like that was way worse than like anything I've ever seen in skating, like
Yeah.
so it just
And it was
depends.
okay because it was slow pitch softball.
Because it was slow pitch softball.
Welcome to Odd Pairing Podcast. I'm Paige and I'm with Natasha, my co-host.
I'm here.
Yeah.
We odd and we pairing.
We are.
We odd and we pairing. Yeah, we are.
Oh my God. Let's get into today's episode.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yes, please.
So today we have someone I consider very special, my husband.
And he's very special to me as well.
Oh yeah, Natasha thinks he's special too. His name is Jeff.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome.
Excited to be here. Yeah, it's cool. The new set looks amazing. Pretty hyped on the sign. Yeah, it looks great.
What else do you like about it?
You guys.
Thank you.
Here in this amazing set. It must have taken forever to grow.
Come on.
To grow.
Stop it, Jim.
Nice.
Yeah, the foliage looks good.
I'll need the number to your gardener. It's really nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they water it daily. Okay.
That's how it gets so green.
Yeah.
Stays green.
Oh, for sure.
Must cost a fortune.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Quality stuff over here.
Yeah.
We have 2 kids. We'll try not to talk a lot about
we
them.
do.
Yes.
Sorry.
Not me and Natasha.
Okay, sorry. Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that you
have
all have
2 children together.
Right. We do.
I mean, when you're not there, it is.
Yeah.
Right.
It is. But yeah, you guys have.
Yeah. You spend time with them.
I do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they love
But
you.
you guys have to. Right.
But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We are talking about you and in the inline skate industry.
Right.
You've been in the industry for over 28 years. And
Yeah.
in particular, with Sunshine Distribution and Razor Skate Company for over 20 years.
Yep.
So, action sports, being outside, all of that.
Lots of action outside.
Lots
yeah.
of action outdoors.
Yes.
Big question.
No, not at this age.
Come on.
I still skate every day, but I
Okay.
think that so there's like a level of like comfort, I guess, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
consider myself to be like somebody who's considered one of the better people in skating, I guess.
But you were at one point.
No.
Yeah?
Did I tell you that?
Yeah, I think
no,
so.
No, I don't think that's
Or maybe
ever
it's just some of
happened.
your friends like, oh my God, Jeff's so great.
Well, yeah, there's different levels.
Oh.
There might be people who like my skating, but yeah, that's
I
yeah.
was going to say, because if you're not a big skater, then I would look at you like a pro. Because I can skate, but I'm not like a huge skater.
So yeah, I am one of the best.
There it
So
is.
you know, yeah.
There it is. That's all I needed you to say.
There you go.
You heard it here first.
And
Jeff's
here
the
I am,
best.
yeah.
Jeff's the best.
Yeah. So you've been in it for 28 years. That's
28 years.
amazing.
Industry wise, but yeah,
Yeah.
I guess skating a little longer than that, but around the same. Yeah.
What made you get into it?
I had a job. I was like super into tennis when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a job at a like a sports store, and it was just like a general called Oshman's, like a sporting goods store, like maybe like a Dick's or something here.
Yeah.
And I was stringing tennis rackets and working in like the football protective department or whatever. And they had this skate department that had just opened, and it was like all these inline skates and random things. And I just like sort of gravitated over there watching videos, and it was way better than watching the same like music videos that they had playing over the Muzak system back then or whatever. And yeah, I just kind of like started hanging out with those dudes in the bike department and the skate department. And then I just kind of got a pair of skates and went from there. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you also do it with the regular rollers?
The regular rollers.
The regular roller skates?
No, I'm not that good on those. I've tried that a few times. I did it when I was younger at the rink and stuff. That was like a pretty cool thing we used to do like on Wednesdays or something. But then there was always a kid who was like better than everybody else. And
on like quads?
Yeah, and he was like I guess he was like kind of cocky or whatever. And it like never really, him having that attitude, I think maybe pushed it away or whatever. Like it was never something I
Like, I don't
wanted
want
to
to
do.
hang out with that guy.
Maybe, yeah. Or maybe I just wasn't
Like-
fit for that or whatever at the time.
Yeah, because it is. It's a different. You can hear different people talk about like a different world with being on roller skates, and you got the people who are on roller blades.
Right.
Like it's almost like extreme sports, and then you just casually just skating.
Yeah, I guess there's
Because I feel
that
like
kind of
people who
element.
are on inline, I mean, you could feel the wind come off of them when they pass you.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I feel like they. I mean, I'm more of an inline skater than I am rollerblade.
You do skate then?
I do.
Oh wow,
Mhm.
cool.
But the inline, I feel like that my ankle doesn't sit right in them, so I'm always having pain. Probably when I'm doing that more than I am when I'm in the regular roller, like a
Pause.
roller skate. Yeah.
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 Because for me, it's almost like having a shoe on, like a
Yeah. Well, you
tennis
probably
shoe.
just have the wrong skates. We might
Maybe.
need to talk. and
We
get you
do
some
need to
better
talk.
Stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
connections.
Right. I'm trying to go to Santa Monica and kill it. Okay.
There you go. I
Trying
know
to-
some people that could maybe help you out.
Yeah. Okay.
This is
good.
great.
Yeah.
This is good.
This is good.
Good.
Look at
This
me.
is very good.
Look at me.
Before we get started
Yeah.
fully, what are you drinking?
It's a Bagby Hellas.
Mm-hmm.
It's the no hype, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
That's my second one. That one's empty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, there we go.
Going
So-
for it.
Right. What does it taste like? What kind of tasting are you getting off of this?
It's crispy, like really light lager.
Mhm.
Very drinkable, and I don't know. Yeah.
5%.
Is it
Nice.
5%?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Standard.
And we have a Bagby beer is very special to
We
us.
love Bagby.
We love Bagby beer.
Mhm.
Oceanside, California does true to style in all of their beer
Mhm.
that they produce. And it's just quality food, quality cocktails, quality beer, like just a quality establishment and wonderful, wonderful people. So
So it
Thank-
sounds like you guys are taking me there. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Got it.
yes,
Got
we'll
it.
go.
You should
we'll
go,
go.
yeah.
It's
If you're a beer drink, like
fantastic.
their traditional style beers, like
Mhm.
what they put in a lot of work into the craft.
Yeah.
and it's always
It-
so good. Yeah.
I'm open to try it. It sounds like the vibe is good there too.
Yeah, they're very like Jeff Bagby is a very well decorated brewer here in San Diego, and he's been in the industry for decades and very well respected and looked up to. And
Yeah.
so he just tries to make true to style beer, and just try to perfect it as much as possible. And you
I'm
can
open.
feel and taste that vibe when you're at their brewery.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
it's nice, community driven, and it's a great spot.
Yeah.
We really
Really
like
well
it
put
there.
together.
And what are you drinking?
I am today.
Well, you haven't drinking.
I haven't drank it yet. Drank it.
Drinking.
Right? But I want to point out how you and I are doing the opposite
We're
today.
opposite today.
Whereas usually Paige is doing some type of beer style something, and I'm doing a wine something. And there's an opposite day for us.
Yeah, it was
Look
fun.
at
I
us.
know.
Odd pairing it up.
Yep.
Okay. So what I am
we're
currently drinking, first I wanna kind of bring some attention to this can. I'm a sucker for colorful, beautiful cans, and this is Fistful of Gummies. It's a fruited sour, and they got the cutest little bears on there. And tell them a little bit, Paige, because Paige knows more about like what these people got going on than I do. But what are their other things that they're into in terms of what they do for the community?
Fistful of Gummies is from Second Chance Beer Company out of San Diego. And they're into the, giving things and second chances. So
Mhm.
a big part of their company philosophy and is dog rescues.
Mhm.
And so they do a lot of fundraisers and events at their brewery around dog rescues and fundraising. And so like even on the can, it says, seize a pint, save a pup. And so that's just a part of who they are as a company. And this one in particular, this edition is called the Berry Edition. And it's supposed to taste kind of like the red and blue Sour Patch Kids, berry flavors.
We'll see in a
And
minute.
it's part of Pink Boots Society fundraiser. And the Pink Boots Society is a organization, a 501c3 charity organization that raises funds for scholarships for women and non-binary people in the craft beer world or craft beverage world to further their education. And so that's what this particular beer is a recent release, so it helps further that message. And, so yeah, they've got some really great stuff going on, and female co-owned. Virginia Morrison is their co-owner and fantastic. So, but I haven't tasted this yet, so we do have a couple tasting glasses so that we can
you guys are
do a little tasty poo.
A little tasty
poo.
I like that they rescue dogs, because if my dog keep acting up, he's gonna have to be rescued here in a minute.
Yeah, right. You would not give that dog up.
Well,
that is berry
and very good
and sour. Yeah.
Very, and you know I like a good sour anything.
I know you like sour, so I was like, this will be.
That's going to be in my refrigerator.
I was like, I don't think that people always consider sours as like gateway beers to beer, and
that's a good one.
I think that it's like kind of a better gateway beer than some light lagers or something, because there's so much other flavors going on versus like a beer flavor, you know?
Cheers to these guys.
You had to give that one a second chance, huh?
Oh, see what you did there. Yes, I did. Yeah, I had to give it a second chance. Man, bring Jeff back on the show.
Oh, you got to invite already.
Right, bring Jeff back on the show.
A re-invite.
Yeah, right. Episode 3.
Right.
Season 2. You get more of me.
Let's talk about our week a little bit. What you guys what's been going on?
We got an IKEA delivery today.
That was cool.
Wait, first of all, what is this? Do I need to take you guys out more? What is an IKEA delivery?
Yeah. No, so again, we've got the 2 little ones at home, and they share a bedroom, and like getting their room organized and together is like a gift to us.
Yeah,
it's more for us than them.
It's definitely more for us than for them.
So that's why y'all
so like very excited of like trying to get that room together and a haven for them, so that we can have our own space.
Jumping up and down and clapping as soon as they start backing the truck down the driveway. Oh my God!
It's here.
It was pretty exciting.
It's the little things,
yeah.
And when you have 2 little kids and you don't get to go out very often, those things do matter.
Yeah,
like IKEA furniture deliveries.
Right.
I also did a lot of gardening, which was
nice. You did.
Yeah. That was a big thing. That's another thing that I look forward to.
Yeah.
To get out there and to just kind of take care of the
yard.
Outer surroundings of our home. Yeah.
Do you got anything special you got going on out there? Or you just
we got rid of weeds. Not weeds, Jeff. Jeff got rid of it.
Yeah. Just
the past
trying
rains,
to maintain. Yeah,
the
rains.
rain like really brought in the
super bloom of weeds right now.
Super bloom.
Very green, and it's not the type of green we want. So
yeah.
Well, it is until it dies.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
That makes sense. Another trying week of therapy as always. That's the lovely part of being a therapist is some weeks are not as great, but still rewarding in terms of when there's a breakthrough. That's probably my favorite part. When I can see the light in people's eyes and they go, wow, I never thought of it. Moving towards the sun. Come with me.
Oh my gosh, that must feel so good.
Yeah, even when it's a tough week for me in terms of like hearing everyone else's tough week, then even when I see that like little glimpse, I'd be like, this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Just for those like little glimpses.
Reminder.
That's cool.
We still got Thursday and Friday to go, so.
Yeah. We're.
Yeah.
We still got a few more days.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Quickly, you did the community week or community day.
I did.
With kindergartners.
I did.
And I thought that would be kind of fun to share.
Yeah, so I did the community day at Paige's and Jeff's son's school. And
Sons.
it was...
Both go.
But, they both go to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I went there, and it was a day of just different people, different jobs in the community, and they kind of talk about what they do. And I got to talk to the kids about therapist, and I asked most of the kids if they know what a therapist was, and yay, a lot of them didn't. So that was pretty good. Means things in the household could be going good or not. But to not know is at that age is probably a good thing. And then just I also taught them a lot about breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Just how to, when you're frustrated, if your parents are frustrated, because we mimic behaviors, and I was teaching them on how mimicking behaviors is actually a good thing. So if your parents are, if you can obviously see that your parents are frustrated, just take that breath. And I was showing them what is called a bear's breath. And it's like you almost kind of just blow your whole entire body up, and then you just kind of bring it down. And so they love that piece of it.
Yeah, the
And
interactive
then,
part of it. Yeah.
And then I played a few like just brain games with them with their fingers to kind of see with like multitasking and seeing what the left and the right brain is doing.
Fun.
So the kids, they really, really enjoyed it. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was a good time. It was very rewarding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6-year-olds are always entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they were. Oh, yeah, they were. Mm-hmm.
Well, you were there too.
Yeah.
Talking about.
I was actually, I was after Natasha. So they got these cool
They
games
did these
to
like
play.
cool bear breaths, and then they were like, "Oh,
Yeah." And I
what's
was
this
saying
guy
earlier
doing?
before, like we were like I was trying to explain like how a skate works, and like I was just getting like, full on like blank faces, or like kids were trailing off or whatever. And then after like 2 or 3 groups of kids, I like had to like, you gotta ramp up this or whatever, like just trying to come up with stuff and just be like, just be very wild with my hand movements and stuff, and all of a sudden I caught their attention or whatever. So
fun.
With kids, you have to be very exaggerated.
And it was rewarding.
Yeah, because they do. And then I wore of course, I wore like the really bright colors. So, of course, everybody was like, ooh, it's a lot of brightness going on over here. And so, not only with that, but you have to, when you exaggerate things, then it kind of keeps their attention. And then finding those ways, too, that when they do trail off, you snap them back to the thing. And what I did was I asked the kids, has anyone played, if you're happy and, clap your hands? And so all of them was like,
they love clapping their hands.
Yeah. And so anytime I would see a kid like trail off, I'd be like, if you're happy, and then they come back. Yay, we're back in the game.
So easy.
Yeah. So just finding those like little pieces of, once you find out what it is that makes them get excited about paying attention, then you nailed it. I don't even have kids.
Good to know.
I'd be nailing this shit.
Yeah. Bringing the expertise.
That's why you still have that energy to bring it at a kindergarten event.
Exactly. Yeah. Just I walked in there refreshed.
Yeah.
Just excited about the day.
That's so good. I wanted to do it, but I just felt like working in the beer industry, going to kindergartners and talking to them about beer probably wouldn't be the best.
Depending on what circle you'd be in.
Yeah. I don't know. The other like community people were like nurses and Marines and veterinarians and like a park ranger and that sort of stuff. So it was cool. Like our son was definitely pumped when he got home. He was like telling us all sorts of stuff. So it was cute.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that for the school and for him.
For sure.
It was really wonderful.
It was good.
So today we want to talk more so, since we got like the kids stuff out of the way, but talk more so.
No more about them.
Yeah, done. Talk about them all the time. So, right? Don't you? Yeah.
I'm thinking about them right now.
Oh, well, of course you are. So more so about the like inline skate industry in relationship to alcohol and what that looks like, and just action sports, and so. Just talking more about that, because I think it's an important conversation to have.
Because can you drink and skate?
Well, you can. I think you can. You can, right?
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're good when you're doing it.
Yeah, it's about being able to like actually do the movements and everything well enough to not hurt yourself.
Yeah.
I think if you I may have done it 1 or 2 times before, and you can get
in
hurt.
28 years.
28 years, and you can get
In
hurt.
28 years.
28 years, yeah.
Mhm.
And it
That's
does.
good.
They don't sync really well together. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the first question I had was, what role does alcohol consumption play in your industry?
Well, I guess specifically, I guess like with my job, that's like kind of because it's what I do involves like team management and tours and events and things like that.
Mhm.
And they're all very social activities. You travel all over the world to go to these different events, whether it's a contest or a demo or whatever, and you're out there with a bunch of people who are either um, well, they're somewhere in the age range of like 18 to 30 or whatever that are the
Mhm.
people who are participating in the sport, and um,
Because they're serious.
they're serious,
Yeah.
yeah. But it also like the social
They also
activities
probably don't.
they don't have. There are a lot of them that do now, and that's they've all gone through their transition with skating and with alcohol
Yeah.
and with kids and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, just being out there and just having it be a social activity, like you're gonna
Mhm.
obviously it's gonna involve some sort of like
Something that brings you together.
something
like,
that brings you together too, because you always like, especially with tours, man, like you're just going from like spot to spot, skate park to skate park. You're just dealing with a bunch of kids all day, and then going out and having a beer afterwards, it just like fits. It's like something that
Yeah.
you can all do and
Mm.
connect and talk about the day. It's like any other like
yeah,
office environment, but you're just
industry.
traveling or
Yeah.
doing it or whatever. So
Right.
it's very prevalent because there's people are they're growing within skating and within their own lives at the same time. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, there's always alcohol around. And
Yeah.
if that's your is that the answer to the question?
You
Is it
answer the
your
way that
answer?
Did I answer the
the
question?
way you want to answer it, Jeff?
People that skate do drink.
Hmm.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, and like going from that, like what ways has alcohol impacted the industry, and like what sort of changes have you seen over time? Like we just kind of joked around, like 18 to 30, like they don't have kids, so yeah, they can go out and skate and drink and like all that sort of stuff. But like, what other things have you seen as people grow from the time that they start skating in their teens to their 20s to their 30s? Like, there's a lot of development that takes place as a human being during that time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then, like, how does that relationship change with the sport and alcohol? And like, what have you kind of seen?
Well, I could go in like a couple different directions, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess like three main
Going
ones or
all of
whatever.
them.
Yeah.
We've
So I
got
mean,
time.
yeah. So I mean, like the fun one, obviously, like the people who are able to like, just sort of like maintain and understand like what they're putting into their body and what they're able to put out.
Mhm.
You can. There's plenty of those people out there, but there's also the two extremes of people who are like that just take it too far all the time, and then there's the
Mhm.
other people who have figured out that like it's not great for their body and what they want
Mm.
to put out.
Right.
So I mean, actually, now as an older skater and somebody who's involved in everything, you're hanging out now with what used to be just like this bunch of dudes who would just smoke weed and skate and then drink all the time or whatever. It was just constantly around you all the time. It was the environment. Now there's like people who are like fully sober that have gone through their process, and then you've got these guys who are still going over the top. But for the main road that everybody's going down is they've just figured out like how to level it out. Like
Right.
I'm only gonna have this much or this or whatever. Like I can
Mhm.
handle this. I'm gonna drink wine tonight because I don't need things that are gonna like inflame alcohol will, but the certain sugars and stuff in beer, whatever, are gonna make like my knees hurt tomorrow
Oh
morning. So I'm not gonna
yeah.
have those kind of things. So you're kind of it's definitely it's the coolest skating has ever been and traveling for me personally
Mhm.
because I figured all that stuff out over time. And it took having kids to like really sort of like reframe like what skating is to me, what life is to me, what drinking is to me. Like it's
Mhm.
now I understand that like just a little bit of this, a little bit of that is going to make me
Yeah.
get everything that I want out of this kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and I see that throughout everybody else that I travel with and skate
Mhm.
with the exception of those few people who still take it like way further than they need to.
And
Yeah.
they
So
may have other things going on
they
that
may.
contribute
Yeah, and I
to.
may have talked to them about it, but I might not remember because I may have had one too many when I did talk to them about it. But yeah.
Yeah. I was always curious about that because, like, when you're competing or whatever, and part of the like you're going out and there's drink that's like dehydrating your muscles,
Yeah.
and how do
Mhm.
you compete if your muscles aren't hydrated, and like
Yeah.
that
Well,
sort of
there's
thing.
like when everybody's like in their 20s, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
you do it's the same thing with like just anybody just having a hangover and like feeling like completely normal the
Mhm.
next day when you're in your early 20s, but when you get into your 30s, like, oh man, like that extra
Everybody need to slow
margarita,
down.
probably
Yeah.
shouldn't have had that one last night. I can't really work today or focus. You
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
whatever. So just seeing like, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, like how like people uh I'm sorry, I might be a little bit buzzed off the 2 beers already, but
Wow, that was quick, Jeff.
yeah. Well, it's so going with that, like I
Uh-huh.
just not drinking as much as I used to or whatever.
Right.
So it's just kind of it's just seeing people like that used to be able to like handle stuff and like go out at night and just party like and just rage, and then the next day they'd be able to go to a demo and just like kill it.
Mhm.
And then now those same people, like they're not washed out by any means, but they're definitely not performing at the same level that they used to if they're still consuming as much alcohol.
Yeah.
So
So
would you let's say, just with the sports period in it, would you say that maybe they should kind of keep it separate in terms of, let's say a skating event is happening, right? And then they got like, oh, this particular beer over here is giving out beer for all of you skaters.
yeah,
Do you think that they should kind of keep it separate, or have
Mhm.
you found that there's a balance between them both kind of coexisting?
that's like personal, I guess. Like if
Mm-hmm.
somebody feels that way, or whatever. But like having some sort of like social lubricant,
Mm-hmm.
and especially with these events where you're traveling all around or whatever, I still think it's like super important to consume it and to hang out with people. Like it brings people together, whether it's
Yeah,
like
it does.
because it's being served at a bar or
Mm-hmm.
somebody brought it or it's sponsored by somebody or whatever. Like just having that there is very much part of the culture. And it honestly it still makes it really fun because it's people can sort of like break out of their shells and like kind of become like more social around, especially around people like any industry or any sport or whatever. There's people who are like up there that like people
Yeah.
like they look at them like, oh, I can't, there's no way I can walk up to that guy and ask him about this section or this trick or whatever that I've been obsessing over for so many years. With that it allows them to go up and talk and connect.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
people, they I don't, not necessarily that they need that, but I've
Mm-hmm.
also I I I think it's very important to have some sort of connection
Mhm.
outside of the skating world or whatever, and booze does that
Yeah.
for
It's
a
like
lot of
with
people.
running
So
too. Because I know if you ever hear about people who do like marathons or half marathons, at the
Mhm.
end they always have beer.
yeah,
Yeah, they're like a
Always.
beer garden, and you're like,
Yeah. And so I
yeah.
remember the first time I did one and I was like, what is going on?
is that where like
So
the
y'all just gonna
carbs and
stop running and then y'all
protein
gonna
thing comes
drink?
from?
That
Is
is.
that it?
That's exactly it.
That's why
It's
they give
for
it to
the
you.
like carbo loading,
Yeah,
like piece of it. And then it's also a celebration piece
Right.
of
Of
people,
accomplishment.
because when we talked
Yeah.
about drinking in terms of like celebrating, it's like you just finished running either 13.1 miles or 26.2. Of course you need a beer. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
celebrate that you
Cheers.
just did. Yeah.
Cheers.
That you
Yeah.
literally just did this. So I would think that in any kind of like extreme sport or a sport where it's rookies, I would say, get together, because with like marathon running, it's not like a bunch of famous people are out there. They don't have, teams for this.
Followers.
Right. So it's more of just the local people kind of doing it. And I would guess that part of that it kind of happens too in terms of skating, that they're just
yeah, for sure. Like top of mind, I just went to the Netherlands like beginning of February,
mm-hmm.
and there's this major event that got paused for 3 years because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody got back together, and the venue was amazing. They redid the skate park, they redid the bar, like, and in Europe, like everything just kind of like fits together. Like you're not gonna have like there's only an after party we can drink, and you're not gonna have alcohol in this area, whatever like that. No, like
Yeah.
everything is like
Together.
intermingled. People are just like, dudes are drinking beer at like 10 a.m., hanging out, screaming, yelling for an event, and it lasts like all the way through the day.
Yeah.
And the energy you get from that event, because like everybody is just sort of like, whether they're sober or they're just there skating and they're drinking later, or the people that are drinking obsessively all day, whatever.
Mhm.
They're all there for the love of the same thing, which is
Right.
which is skating, and that just like sort of feeds like the madness from one crowd, like all the way to the seriousness of the other.
Mhm.
And that I'm still like sort of like vibing off of that energy that I picked up during that weekend. Seeing
That was
people
a
that I
good
haven't seen in
weekend then.
forever. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
You
I
were
was
there
there-
for like 36
I
hours.
was there for 36 hours. It was cool.
Mhm.
It was really cool. Normally when I travel, like I go out to events and I like have to pick people up at the airport, take them somewhere to cash a per diem check,
Mhm.
uh, go to Walmart to buy underwear in the middle of Europe or something, whatever. Like it's just super random, like requests for things or whatever like that.
Yeah.
And then getting people to the hotel, making sure that they're fed properly, all that stuff, whatever. This
Working.
working. This
Yeah.
trip, I was just like I was out. I had my own rental car.
But
like,
I also
just had my
remember
own
you coming
fun
back and saying like, because it was a shorter trip, it was more about the connection.
it was all about the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I
that
spent
made
a lot
a
of
huge
time.
difference to you.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time just hanging out at
Yeah.
the bar area, not necessarily drinking all day, but just like communicating with people that were all kind of there to feel that same thing that I got from that weekend or whatever.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It was cool. Yeah.
Do you guys have beef with skateboarders?
I don't have beef with skateboarders.
Y'all don't have beef with skate? Okay.
No, we all occupy like the same space for the most
Mhm.
part. I don't know. I'm sure there's people that have their opinions about things, but
Mhm.
I'm good with it.
You're saying it's not you though. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I'm too old to have beef with anybody about anything, I think.
You always have beef.
But I think so. Like, I know because we've kind of talked about that before, like with other friends and stuff. And it's kind of like, I mean, I don't skate at all.
Mhm.
I've tried. I'm not very good.
We still have skates for you in the garage.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not good on them. But either way.
Mhm.
But I was like, why, like, where does some of that beef come from anyways? Because I'm like, if it all has to do with people getting outside, moving their body, being able to, like, express themselves through something that, like, they find fulfilling and they're passionate about, like, why would somebody else have an issue with that? Like, why would you compete and be like, oh, but my sport is better because I'm on a board with 4 wheels versus I'm on like a skate with 4 wheels. Like where, like, I mean, where does that come from?
I
But
think
don't
it's
know.
skill, right? I think that when people are competing with different things, it's skill. It takes skill to have an inline skate. It takes skill to be on the
Skateboard.
quads. What
Yeah.
did you guys call it? The quads?
Quads,
Yeah.
yeah.
It takes skill to do that. It takes skill to be on a skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
But why can't you just like
go,
respect that it takes a different type of skill to be on each of those types of things?
but what's the fun in that?
I don't know, like being
What
a
is-
human being.
What is the fun if we're all just harmonizing together? Who's gonna talk shit? You know what I mean? Like I need someone to talk shit.
Well, there's a difference between like fun talking shit versus
Mhm.
like bad talking shit.
Yeah, but no, I was saying it in terms
Sorry.
of like a fun.
I know we're like
No, there's a difference. There's a difference for sure.
Like
yeah.
I'm talking about it like fun talking shit.
Oh.
Like, you know, like yeah, because it when I think about it, I remember me being on inlines once, and someone was like, "Oh, you know, you do those? That seems like some extreme skating." And I'm just like, I'm just regular skating. Just
Yeah.
happen to be
Yeah.
in a line.
Yeah.
You know, but people have a preference
Mm-hmm.
of like what it is. So I was just asking in terms because I know how skateboarders are about like their skateboards, and I was
Yeah.
thinking that if because when you think about like inline skating, I think that they do the ramps and like all of the other stuff
Yeah, they
just like they would on a skateboard, right?
Yeah, for the
Mhm.
most part. And
So I would
mean,
think it'd be a
honest-
little beef there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the tiny differences between what we do
Mhm.
create some sort of like rift in the
Mhm.
crew or whatever.
But good for
Okay.
you, Jeff. You stay out of it. I'll be looking for it. What y'all got going on over here?
I actually, I'm
Well,
super
you-
appreciative of like anybody who's like putting themselves out there and doing that stuff. I think
Mhm.
that's really
Mhm.
rad.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys raised a lot of questions that are like, yeah, like why would it be a thing that there would be beef between anybody who's out there just trying to exercise or better themselves through something? It's like a basketball player hating on a soccer player. Like it doesn't really make any sense.
But I get it.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, it is out there, but it's not anything I participate
Yeah.
in. So
Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I need a little shit talking every now and then. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that does happen, like just in, I don't know, whatever, just with homies or whatever. Anyway, like if it's
Right.
going to be a
Yeah.
thing, either
Yeah.
between skaters or skateboarders and rollerbladers or whatever it is, that's I think that's kind of all healthy for the most part.
But I
Yeah.
think that's also like a good comparison of like you don't really hear like basketball players shitting on soccer or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But you would definitely hear, I don't know if like what the difference between like action sports versus like those other like more like pronounced professional sports. I don't know what the accurate term is, but
I don't know any professional baseball players or
It's all
basketball
action to me.
players or whatever. But I don't know if
It's all action to me.
yeah, well, yeah.
I just don't know if it's like a
just like competition ego thing. It seems like that can kind of sometimes.
I don't know. I think it might have.
And that's
it might
me,
be
an outsider, because I do not.
Yeah, it might be like a lifestyle thing. Like it's really like for skating for me, it was always like really personal. Like it was like something I found that took me away from things that I wasn't really enjoying in my life. And maybe it's that, like it's just like I'm so like passionate about it. I like I was about to say, I don't know if like baseball players and soccer players like feel like it's like a lifestyle that that this is what they do. I mean,
I would think so.
I would think that they do, but I don't know.
But maybe I don't know.
It's like being in the military.
Yeah,
we would talk shit to the other branches.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't.
I hear that. I still hear that all the time. Yeah.
Fight. We still would talk shit like, oh no, we're the brainiacs, or we're the muscle or whatever, and it takes a special type of person to be the muscle. It takes a smart type of person to be the brainiac. Whatever. We're all still fighting the same mission, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a lifestyle in that particular branch.
Yeah.
Like the Marines got a different lifestyle than the Navy. The Navy got a different lifestyle than the Army.
Yeah.
So I would think that same thing would happen in different sports. Of course, I would still think that they would talk shit to each other about like just being in those particular sports. Like, oh, you just swinging a golf club all day, Sir Howard. You're not even breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
So
well, you do
I would
hear
think,
that stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I would think that would be, kind of the beef, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably exists everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because it's not something that people generally make money doing, and they're so passionate about doing it that it's sort of like
that makes a big difference, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That does make a big difference. Yeah, because you're gonna pay me anyway. I need my coins. What steps do you think should be taken to prompt like responsible alcohol consumption in the action sports community?
I don't know.
Do you think it's even out of hand?
I don't think it's out of hand. I think there's certain people like anything else, like any other industry, anything. I mean, like you run into dumbasses like at the bar all the time that do other stuff, whatever. Like it's just a thing that people take too far most of the time, or some of the time.
Because when you associate like hockey, that's the first thing you're thinking about. Everybody's plastered in the audience.
You can go to the goals games, you get like $2 beer night. Like, yeah, of course it's going to be a thing.
Exactly. So I think...
And I don't drink Bud Light, man. But if I'm going to go to a goals game and they're $2...
No, we went to a goals game and it was $2 and we still bought Pizza Port's Kook.
But I drank some Bud Lights too. And probably then
which is like a 10% IPA.
Yeah, then we switched over to that.
I said, oh, well, I'm going to get my bang from a buck.
Yeah, that was a fun night for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the last time we went out.
Right.
Just kidding.
And now we're not allowed out in public anymore.
And thinking about this too, because we always talk about like safety around kind of like alcohol as well. So even though that you have this like, alcohol is not really a big deal in the industry that you have, but have you ever had to confront anyone that had a little bit too much?
Yeah, like with the exception of probably like the past, like I guess 5 years, 6 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Pretty much. Well, I mean,
that's
the 28.
Traveling.
I stopped traveling when we had our first son. I just stopped traveling. My boss was just like settle in. I'm gonna do all this stuff. It was great.
Oh,
it worked out really well for us.
You had a boss like that.
Yeah. It's like super helpful.
If I would have heard that first cry, I would have been out of there. Listen, Paige. So like you got it.
I got a work trip to go on.
Right.
Yeah.
Work trip.
Couldn't man, with as little sleep as we were getting, I can't imagine. Like just I don't know. It would have been weird.
I would have murdered you.
Probably, yeah.
If you would have been able to catch him first, you would have had to catch him first.
But it was it was
hard
like
to grab the legs of a plane when it's in the air.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like there were always people getting out of hand. Always bad stuff, like lost rental car keys, wrecked rental cars.
Ooh.
Like just random stuff that would happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really funny stories that surround the people that just went a little bit too far, but there's also some terrible stuff too. So
yeah,
it's all kind of just it's like anything else. Just kind of sometimes it can get a little bit too gnarly.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I think maybe it's because I haven't been traveling as much, and everybody that I know around me, that I allow around me, that are in my circle, they're just more respectful and more
responsible.
Yeah. So
the way it should be at this age.
It took
at our
me
big age. You should be
Yeah. It's taken me a long time to get there, and I can't tell anybody else to rush through it or whatever like that unless they're being
for sure
super dangerous and like hurting other people. Yeah.
There's everybody's own kind of time on it. Like you really, there isn't really a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that people in like your industry and sport have a responsibility to promote like responsible drinking to younger people? I mean, if it's part of the community and the culture and stuff, like, do you think they have a responsibility to younger kids, like as a parent now too? Like,
for a while there, it was like a thing where it was like, because skating's like, it experienced like this massive growth in the 90s, and then it kind of died for a while, and then we had a little bit of a boost during COVID or whatever. And there's always this buzz about like what can help it grow, what's killing it, whatever. It's I don't know. It's not for me, and especially not for the industry, to dictate like what can and cannot be allowed around skating. It is a very individual sport,
right?
So to tell somebody or to have some sort of like outspoken view on like what somebody should do when they're enjoying something that has nothing to do with their career or their life, or I guess not their life, whatever. But like like when they're they very much go hand in hand in a lot of ways. And I don't think it's my place to really, unless it's somebody who works for me or rides for me or is a representative of the team. It's got nothing to do, like what they do with their life and what they consume and whatever. It has nothing to do with me, as long as they can still skate and go out there and enjoy it. I do think that people do need to be more responsible with it, but I don't think it's my place in any way to tell somebody, unless they're hurting people around me.
Like you're working in it, so it's almost like if you're on the clock, knock it off. Once you get off, then enjoy yourself.
Right.
But at the same time.
But I'm just thinking, like, as a parent of like two young boys who want wheels on their feet and like all that kind of stuff, and if they're going to a skate park and they're seeing these people that they are looking up to, and they're showing up hungover, or they're seeing skate videos come out of them like plastered and doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want my kids watching that. Like, you end up becoming like.
Well, that's where I was going with like the whole like growth, and then when it died down, people were like, "Why is this happening? Like, we can't have like drugs and alcohol in our videos," and because that's still a main thing in whatever, like skateboarding, BMX, rollerblading, or whatever. You're gonna see like people like consuming something within a team video, which team videos are still out there, but social media has kind of changed that whole thing. But companies have their stance on like if they're gonna allow like a substance in a video.
Because image does matter.
Image does matter to a point. So yeah, I mean, I guess, and that is a thing. That's something I'm concerned about with our kids, like our local skate park. Like, I want to take my kids out to skate, but I'm not taking them there because that park, it like sort of just like breeds that element that like that doesn't necessarily have to be a part of skating. It can be something else to a lot of people. I personally don't consume anything when I'm skating other than coffee, which is like my favorite substance when I'm out skate. Coffee and water.
I can barely stand up without it.
Right.
So what I look like trying to have a shot of tequila?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I do get what you're saying. Like that's
So I
that.
want to counter that actually, because I do think that it starts at the house, right? It's almost kind of like showing your kids, like they're going to see things that you're not going to be there to
Yeah.
kind of facilitate at the same time. So once they do get older, let's think about them. They say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be like dad, get into the skate industry," and they're now teenagers going off and like doing those things. When you've already instilled in them at home that you don't have to do that. If you see someone else doing that, that's kind of like their thing, but you don't have to do that within yourself. I think that brings it to a different light. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that because I saw Tony Hawk, you know, drinking and skating, that's the thing. I'm thinking that, oh yeah, this is obviously where it is. When you taught your kids the responsibility behind alcohol and doing other things, like drinking and driving is a big one. We also should tell them drinking and skating, drinking and riding your bike, drinking, you know, all of these type of things.
Drinking and wheels.
Drinking and wheels, period. You can get a DUI on a bike. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Can you get it on skates?
I have no idea. That's a great question.
I mean, if you're
right
wobbling around
they
too
gonna
much,
pull your ass over on them skates.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, kind of thinking about that, it starts at the house, period.
yes,
And not thinking that you should be able to manage if they accidentally do stuff. So just like Jeff said, that yeah, I noticed that this skate park is doing some shit I don't want my kids to see.
right.
So I'm not going to take them to that particular one, right?
Yes.
But if they're at a big event that's happening and one of their idols is over here smoking weed, you can also let them know, like, that's their thing. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And just know
But that's
what that is.
with the assumption that you have a healthy household.
Exactly. And so
And
that's the part.
I think too, though, that like there's an element of, I mean, you were saying, you alluded to it earlier, of like that when you started skating, it was because you were like trying to remove yourself from certain parts of your life, or that you were trying, like, and it was escape, it was an outlet, it was something else that like people don't, I mean, sometimes they seek action sports to remove themselves from not a healthy household. And so then they do start looking at people in a way, like looking up to them in a way that they can connect.
But you still can't.
And I'm not saying that everybody in skating comes from an unhealthy household.
Right. Well, like
That's
it's
not
not just skating, like it, or
I was just about to say baseball. Go to a baseball stadium. Take your kids to a baseball stadium.
Exactly.
You're gonna see that shit all over the stadium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also like it's in culture. It's in music. It's in sports. It's everywhere. It's like dudes on the street drinking. Like kids are gonna see it. They're gonna be exposed to it. So it's.
But I just feel like because it's more niche versus mainstream,
right.
There's a difference.
But we also can't manage how these grown people are doing it versus you telling your kid, because you can manage your kid and telling them, listen, these are the effects. This is what happens here. This is what happens there. Because when you try to manage it in terms of like the whole system should stop doing it because I don't want my kids to be exposed to that.
Yeah.
That's almost kind of like putting it now to where you're managing them instead of just managing your own.
Well, it's not just, I think it's more of like when you do start being somebody that people start looking up to, there is a responsibility that you have to the people that look up to you.
Not necessarily. We put that on them because they're now in this light, but that's really not their job to manage how your kids see them in that light. They just happen to be in this platform. And I think that that's like a huge misconception, especially with like celebrities. Like when people was talking about Cardi B shouldn't be doing this because my kids are watching. Cardi B isn't the mother of your kids. You should tell your kids that what she's doing, yes, enjoy her music if that's what you want to do, but you don't have to dress like that. You don't have to talk like that. So I think that part of it is that people have to understand managing their own kids at home.
Yeah.
And not leaving it. It's almost like setting your kids in front of TV going, Sesame Street is now your mommy and daddy. And that's the only way you're going to learn, right?
Yeah,
And it's not fair, I don't think, that we have to put that onto them when you're already teaching them that this is the way. Now, when you go out, that this is how you conduct yourself.
Yeah.
Don't worry about how they're conducting themselves. Because sometimes we have to kind of let our heroes break our heart in order to know that
Yeah.
we, as a person, have our own moral compass. Their moral compass isn't yours.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think there is an element to it, though.
It is an
They
element.
do need to like recognize that they may have an impact on some, like they will or may have an impact on somebody else's life.
They do, but at the same time, not their responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the recognition or the, recognizing that is a piece of it.
Yeah.
And as an industry too, like recognizing if you're putting out in all of your skate videos, everyone getting plastered, and that's part of your culture, is that what you want people to think the skate culture is?
If that's what that company wants to portray, then it's up to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is. You're right. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying, but if that's what's in videos, or if that's the portrayal
those
of the culture, then it's kind of like,
those aren't the only videos that are out there. There's other people who are doing wholesome, or not stuff that's not related with that or whatever.
And then you direct your kids to them. Hey, look at these people. No alcohol, no drugs, no nothing.
Yeah.
Follow them.
Yeah, like
Don't follow them.
We could easily take the kids to a different park to learn stuff, rather than here, which is that's our option, and I completely agree with you. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's really up to the industry as a whole to manage it, or to put like a like just some sort of like limitation on what people are allowed to do when they're participating in the sport.
Yeah.
I mean, look at like when I played like adult softball or whatever, like there wasn't a sober dude on that field. Like it was just like dudes were just
smacking the wine bag.
Terrible. Like that was way worse than like anything I've ever seen in skating, So it's just
and it was okay because it was slow pitch softball.
Because it was slow pitch softball. Even though I saw pitchers get like hit but like direct like line drives or whatever. Like that's way more dangerous than someone falling on their own on skates or whatever. So it's all relative.
Let's get into my favorite part of it. But first, before we get into it, we're asking everyone to name 3 ingredients, and you could only name 3 ingredients that will create a unique and fun drink. What you got?
I can't give away like all the secrets of things that I like, I guess, or whatever. I'm not gonna like.
That means
I can't.
He doesn't know.
I don't know. My favorite. I love beer, but over the past couple of years, like margaritas have become my favorite thing. Just I guess it's 4 ingredients, but still, just a little agave and tequila and lime. Like that's it.
3.
That's why I said 3.
Oh yeah.
Well, there is a 4th one.
4.
You need water too, for the mix, but that's the.
Yeah.
Is that boring?
According to some people, you don't need water.
Exactly, and some people it's Natasha.
Yeah.
I like the little
H2O4
cut to balance it out. But yeah, I don't know. Like that's I don't know. I'm not a mixologist in any way. I don't really like to, but that I can make a decent margarita. Yeah. And those are the ingredients you need. Yeah.
All right, I'll put you up to that. I'll be at the house for margarita night. And would you like to?
Let's hear your craziest night out involving alcohol.
Please have it. Please, Jeff.
Can it involve Paige?
Please let it involve Paige, okay? Oh, not saying that that's the only reason why I needed you over here, but I need you to give me something good. Because Paige been holding out. And I said, you know what?
That's what everyone says. I don't know.
We're just going to bring your whole family over here. Try to figure out.
One person at a time.
Who's going to tell us?
Man.
So give us a good story.
Well, first of all, I'm not a good storyteller, so I'm going to leave out some information.
Just do what you got.
Probably, maybe on purpose, maybe on accident.
I'll ask you about it later.
Clarification.
I don't know, man. There's been so many that I just can't I don't know.
In particular, though,
it doesn't have to involve skating. It just involves Paige.
No, the question is just craziest night out.
Oh, jeez.
Craziest, like good. Craziest, crazy.
Oh, and then remember, it has to involve Paige. Okay.
This is an okay one, I guess. Okay. Like this is it was a Halloween party at my boss's house. Was it Halloween?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh yeah. I know this is about to be good. Come on.
So there was an event happening. It might have been one of my. I don't remember what it was, but everybody was in town.
Yeah.
It might have been Blade and Cup or something. but we had a bunch of people. It was like not necessarily in the heyday, but definitely things were really good in skating, and like there were tons of people out for this event. My boss lives in a really nice home. Had this great pool party kind of thing or whatever, and everybody was dressed up and having a great time. It was the night.
Well, I'm also not like a huge Halloween person.
We weren't dressed up.
We weren't dressed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you were wearing like a black dress and like a denim jacket or something, maybe, or whatever. But it was like kind of a chilly night or whatever. But anyway, not part of the story.
No.
But there were a lot of
She deflecting is what I'm getting.
Right. There were a lot of people there that were dressed up, and it was a really fun time. Like great energy. Like everybody was just having a great time and drinking. It's about, I guess at the time it was like 30 minutes from where we live.
We lived in downtown San Diego. Yeah.
So, anyway, there's a lot of important stuff I could leave in, but I'm going to take it out.
Oh.
But one of the most important things of the story.
She's so disappointed.
It was that was the night that my boss actually
warned you that he's not a very good storyteller.
My boss Andy was like, she's a great woman. You should marry her. He said that night, and that was not the most. I mean, it was exciting for me, exciting for Paige or whatever.
Well, I was drunk.
You were drunk. I didn't propose that night. So
but okay.
Instead, she puked in the.
Instead, I puked in front
on the
of
way
the
back
front yard.
to the car.
Yeah.
So.
In these people's yard?
Yeah.
He has a really big property. Everything was fine.
The night that
Everything was fine.
The night that I decided that I wanted to be with, like, not because of what Andy said, but also,
on the front yard.
but because she was puking on the front yard, and I was just like, yeah, I love this woman.
Look at
So
this is the love of my life.
That's who I wanted.
As you holding her hair back and patting her back.
there's a lot of dancing, a lot of fun. Just walking back up to the car. Paige, it just all hit Paige all at once. It was an electrical box on the side of the road outside of his gate.
Yeah.
And she just sat there and puked like 3 or 4 times.
And then I said, "Let's go."
And then we got
Let's
in the car
get out of
and went
here.
home. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the craziest Paige story I'm gonna tell. So
damn, I gotta get somebody else on here. Okay,
yeah, she is not satisfied.
But it didn't necessarily have to be like a crazy one. But that is a great like story of a night of drinking. You guys were at your boss's house, and for your boss to kind of come up to you and go, "This is the one."
Yeah. Well, I felt that was like, appropriate for a talk about skating industry and booze or whatever. That's when it met.
Yeah.
And it became a thing between Paige and I. So
yeah.
Although we
amazing.
did spend a lot of time drinking before that evening, and
well, we'll have you back on for those particular stories. But yeah, I'm glad that it worked. No, oh no,
a lot of whistle stop stories.
Yeah,
actually.
Have you ever been to Whistle Stop?
Uh-uh.
It's a bar down in South Park, San Diego neighborhood. We call it Dub Stop. The Dub Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of like dance
Booty
circles.
Basement on Saturday.
Do
you know
Basement?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know about Booty Basement?
No.
Oh, okay. That was just like
Why?
What?
Yeah. Fun.
I just don't.
Times.
Because I just don't know about Booty Basement, but now I'm finna make it a point to go to Booty Basement.
Yeah, Jeff was really good at starting dance circles at Booty Basement.
Not good at dancing, but good at starting dance circles.
Like, everyone, we're dancing.
Yeah.
And then you bring them on into the circle and you back out.
And then he'd do it all.
Yeah.
And then he'd back out. And then people would be like, this is amazing. He'd be like, he started it.
That was every Saturday for a while. That was us. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. That's good. I mean, it still was a great story, even though it wasn't your craziest night.
Right.
But you just write in to the show because that's what we're doing now. We want people to write in their craziest nights or any kind of drinking stories, whether it's a love story where your girlfriend or boyfriend was peeking at the electrical box at the end of the night. But at the same time...
And then you decide to marry them.
And you decide to marry them. Yep. And then write in those stories. So if you write it anonymously, then I will read it and I can omit names.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right.
Just put it in very tiny at the bottom. This is about Paige. So then I'm really excited about reading it. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jeff.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, for coming in and spending some time with us and seeing what your wife do. A little hour.
Yeah, I had no idea you worked in alcohol.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Welcome to my world.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been really fun, for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
enjoyed
I'm glad
it.
you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're going to sign off.
Yeah.
Cheers.
And yeah. Bring it on in.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening and watching Odd Pairing. So please subscribe, like, rate,
And comment with your favorite drinking stories and curiosities about adult beverages.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I'm going to happy hour. Who's driving?
I'm going to walk.